else.
Good evening and welcome to the shining city on the hill, the campus of Pope John Paul II High School, home of your JP2 Knights. As we begin every athletic contest here at JP2, we begin with prayer. Please join me as we pray. Loving Father, you have given us the gift of sport to help us grow in body and mind. Send your Holy Spirit to watch over us today. Keep us from injury. Bless us, our fans, our coaches, and officials with good sportsmanship. May our game be marked by hard play, fairness, fun, respect, and love. May all we do bring you greater joy. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps as we honor America and the heroes who serve and protect us both at home and abroad. Performing the Star Spangled Banner is the JP2 Chamber Choir under the direction of Mr. Mike O'Neill. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose lush lights and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare amongst bursting air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free
On a cold winter's night from Hendersonville. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the castle here at the campus of Pope John Paul II High School for tonight's matchup between your JP2 Knights and the visitors,
And now for your starting
the
lineups.
Montgomery Bell Academy Big Red. It's the first division rivalry tonight. My name is Oliver Grant, and I'm joined alongside Nicholas Zanger, who will be joining me in just a moment. But for right now, let's get to the starting five for your JP2 Knights.
Aguilar, 6'2" junior guard. Chris Botsko, 6' senior guard. Sam Speck, 6'3" freshman guard.
Gordon Carroll, 6'2", senior forward.
Michael Anderson, 6'4", senior forward.
And of course, all focus tonight is on the freshman fury, Sam Specht, who will be called down the tunnel. Grayson Lang will also make his grand return to the Knights matchup. Ooh, we are not the Lady Knights. That is for sure. Grayson Lang is dressed for the first time this season to go up tonight. The Knights recently fell in their battle versus Beach during the Christmas Classic.
Boys, get on your feet and greet number 0, Abishai Lowry. Number 5, Gordon Carroll. Number 11, Sam Specht. Number 15, Chris Botsko. And number 34, Michael Anderson. They are coached by Dr. Charles Wade.
And so we are ready to get this baby underway. With 4 seconds ticking away on the clock, we set for hip hop. And JP2 bringing back something I haven't seen in 2 years, the rap in prayer. That's something I haven't seen in a long time. And joining me now is my co-commentator for tonight, Mr. Nicholas Zanger. How you doing tonight, Nick?
I'm good. Just ready to watch some nice basketball today, and maybe a Knights win, maybe an MBA win. Who knows?
Well, I was about to ask your predictions for the game, but hey, that's it. And
I'm pulling for the Knights because of the home school, but MBA has a lot of talent. They're very fundamentally sound. It's going to be hard to pick against them.
And I have a shot. Lowry kicks to Gordon Carroll, who goes to Chris Botsko. Botsko to Lowry. And Lowry drives in, kicks out to Botsko. Botsko once again on the move. Lowry driving in, gives to Sam Speck. Speck back to Carroll, who gives to Ida Shaw. Lowry, I'm digging the new uniforms for the Knights with the all blue, and then the, I know our recent Nike sponsorship definitely helping with that. They look fresh. Michael Anderson trying. The Knights have had possession of this ball.
That's not a good sign for the Knights. Mike Anderson has to have a huge game tonight. Best player for the Knights, in my opinion. Grayson Lang obviously coming back from injury tonight. Hopefully we'll see him, but Mike Anderson's going to have to be the one to kind of carry this team tonight.
Oh, that's for sure. NBA looking to play big tonight as they kick to number 4, who gives to 22, bringing it up and around to 10. 10 calling for help.
Watch out for number 10. Kid's a lights-out shooter, very good player, probably their best player.
Now, was he on the freshman team when you were playing for the Knights?
Yes, and I'm pretty sure every single time we played him, he had 20-some-odd points.
Deep corner 3 there. I have a shot. Lowry comes down with a rebound, but they're going to rule it in the Knights' favor.
Both teams seem to start out with a nice, slow, deliberate pace. I think that's a game plan, especially for the Knights, because they know their bench isn't as quality as it was last year.
Check that NBA does have possession of the ball. I have a shot. Lowry's reaction tricked me, and I never saw a Knight. But it looks like a big red player will be stepping out of bounds. So we still have no score here. We are a minute and 27 seconds into the game. Specht under pressure from 10 and begins to move. Specht kicks to Gordon Carroll, who begins to dribble and gives to Lowry. Specht was big for the Knights in games against Good Pasture and Nashville Central Christian, leading the team in points in both games.
Today's a different animal, though. Specht's gonna have to play well, but it's kind of intriguing to see how him and his fellow freshmen kind of respond to their first taste of region play.
Oh, that's for sure. Botsko kicks to Specht. That pass intercepted, but Botsko knocks it away, no good, and 10 moves in and kicks up to put the big red on the board first.
Botsko's got to do a better job of hanging onto the ball, as does Lowry. No turnovers tonight, no cheap buckets.
That's for sure. Nice blocked shot there by the big red, and they're going to drive up to try to make this a 2-possession lead, which they will. And Coach Wade calls his first timeout.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for the Knights to play at at the kind of speed that NBA kind of likes to play at, which is fast. There are a lot of very fast players. They're obviously all about the same size, and that's 6 foot something. I don't know. We might see Grayson playing early just to get this crowd energized.
That's for sure, and also something I remember from Montgomery Bell last year in their first matchup between the Knights. They came out and they played fast, and that caught the Knights off guard, which led to that 20-point deficit, which, by the leadership of Jalen Cambridge, the Knights were able to come back from, but they don't have that right now. I think Grayson Lang's going to have to pick up a few reins, and the Knights crowd really has to get into it.
Yeah, they were hoping Lang plays about 4 minutes. He might have to play more than that tonight if they want a chance to win.
That's for sure. Botsko has possession now, gives to Lowry. Lowry ducks looking for Michael Anderson. That pass just went wide, and he'll give possession back to the Big Red.
I want to see Michael Anderson be a little bit more aggressive.
That's for sure.
I mean, when he gets aggressive and he feels like he's the best player on the court, he is the best player on the court.
And that's for sure, and I think he definitely was feeling that. I believe it was versus Nashville Central Christian.
See, right there. That's the kind of play I want to see from Mike Anderson the whole night. Quick, and now I want to see him on the offensive end.
That's for sure. Lowry handling now. tips away, but he maintains possession. And Michael Anderson bounce pass to Gordon Carroll. Carroll looking into paint. Anderson for the deep shot.
I like that shot, though. I really like that shot. We call him mid-range Mike for a reason. He doesn't miss many of those.
And what a block there by Gordon Carroll, but the pass gets through. And the Big Red tips this up to a 6-0 lead.
That was a good shot. Nothing Mike could really do about that one.
No, that's for sure. Lowry calls for help from Carroll. Carroll sets the pick. And Lowry kicks to Botsko. Botsko, after Coach Wade calls for it to move, he does. Specht holding on to it now, and Specht in the corner, knocked away, remains Knight's possession.
If they're going to want to shoot from the perimeter, Sam Specht's going to have to be the guy who does it. I mean, that kid, everything I'm hearing, he's the next Jake Rucker, as in he shoots, it's going in every single time. So I want to see maybe some flare screens probably for him. But that's going to take some sacrifice from Botsko and Lowry, because they're not going to get that many shots tonight if they do that.
That's for sure. Botsko gives to Lowry there in that instance. 20 playing up on Lowry this time. Lowry drives in, and that basket is just off there on a bad roll.
That's not a good sign. Lowry needs to finish at the rim tonight, and if...
That's for sure. That's something Lowry has struggled with almost all season, is finishing when he gets in.
I mean, that's a really... I'm sorry, but that's a huge surprise, because this kid lives by the rim.
No, that's for sure, but it first came to a surprise to me during the Laverne game when he just couldn't finish, and then it became very evident that he's having trouble with that. Montgomery Bell scores again.
They can't give up easy jump shots there.
Nope. Right there, right in the key, it was beautiful. Passes into Anderson. Anderson goes up and sinks one.
Anderson!
It looks like a pretty play, but that was a dangerous pass by Lowry.
Oh, that's for sure. Michael Anderson pulling up big there to get the Knights their first points on the board here with 3 minutes left in this first quarter.
He's going to have to keep playing like that.
And
Good
Lowry
defense.
picks up that steal. Lowry goes in for two and makes it back to 2 positions. That's the kind of play you need for the rest of tonight.
Especially. And with hyperactive Gordon Carroll at the top of that press, I mean, that kid doesn't take any plays off.
And Montgomery Bell goes for three. Off, and Carroll gets the rebound and begins to bring it up to the court for a Knights fast break. Carroll's the first one up there, gives to no guard, and gives it to Botsko. Botsko driving in, has no one to look to, was looking for someone like Michael Anderson there, couldn't find him. Botsko below the rim, goes up, is off.
That's a shot that you're willing to take, but you don't really want to see Botsko in the post. I mean, I'd rather have someone like Speck in there who's long and can finish.
That's for sure. 23 goes up with that. He is off. Tipped there by Carroll, but NBA rebound. The Knights student section taunts him to shoot. He will not. He will pass and out of bounds.
Jake McKinnon and Benjamin Nixon enter for your Knights.
All right, we get the first look at the Knights bench. I mean, from talking to the team, this has kind of been a struggle spot the whole season. It's going to be fun to see if Jaden Young and Ben Nixon can spark this.
That's for sure. Young has been quite the ball of energy on the court this year. Even so, even in situations where he's come in, he definitely has given the Knights some life throughout this season. Young goes deep on that one and just off.
That's not a bad shot, though.
No, it was not. It was actually very right. He was in the right place at the right time. Just didn't go in for him.
Great pass by Michael Anderson. They're going to try to double him in the post. He's got to be looking to pass.
Speaking of doubling, Young and Nixon are playing double coverage right now. My dad always says when you're playing double coverage, one man is always open. And yet, as a coach, he always made us play double coverage. That jump ball.
Oh, my. They know he's looking. Lowry really needs to start shooting a little bit more, just to kind of, pull people away from his ability to drive, because we all know he can. It's kind of unknown if he can shoot. He needs to start figuring that out.
And he'll get fouled on that shot.
And as I say that, he gets fouled and gets to the free throw line for easy shots. So, I mean, Ivy knows what he's doing, but a jump shot would really help him right now.
Fouls on Thomas Connor.
And it looks like we're about to see him for the first time tonight.
And that first shot is off. However, Ivy is relatively 50% from the free throw line this year. And Grayson Lang checks in for the first time.
This is a big confidence booster for the Knights.
Lowry puts up the second, no good.
That free throw looked a little straight. He needs to get a little bit more arc on that. He had more arc last year. I don't know what's going on with that.
That's for sure. I've been watching them in practice, and Coach Wade runs a free throw drill during practice.
Yeah, I remember that well.
68, and you don't have to do any suicides. And Lowry was typically the one that wasn't great. And Lowry going up now.
He seemed to show improvement at the end of the year last year, but it seems like he's gotten back into old habits.
Anderson just off on that shot. Lowry tried to get the rebound there. Ben Nixon tipped that pass, but it still went to its intended target. And the Big Red bringing up the court here with a 4-point lead. Grayson Lang tipped that away.
Yeah, Mike's mad at himself for that one. Mike's really mad at himself for that one. He knows he should have finished that.
That's for sure. Nick Malmquist will check in for the night.
Nick Malmquist, center for your JPII.
And see, that's what the Knights need. Grayson Lang already being a leader on the court, knows what he's talking about. Probably the smartest player I've ever seen in high school basketball.
Oh, that's for sure. That boy has a vision, and he sees the court like nobody else.
He's a head coach on the floor. He's a floor general. He got that badge on 2K really early in his career. It looks like somebody wasn't in the book. This might be technical free throws if I'm right, and they didn't have that person in the book. That could be huge points for the Knights.
Although it looks like Grayson Lang may be the one not logged in the book. It will not. Okay. He called Coach Wade over, and I thought he was going to say, like, hey, someone's not in your book. And I was like, well, Lang's the only one that hasn't played in a while.
Yeah. But I'm sure he was the first name on the sheet.
Yeah.
And it looks like it is a tech against for the book. I wonder.
So Lang has his first chance tonight.
Ooh.
That shot's off.
I mean, I would say get his legs underneath it, but that seems very mean considering he tore his ACL. But I said it anyway.
So Lang will not get his first points back tonight. Well, in those two shots.
Those two shots.
He's getting them back tonight. Let's face it. This is Grayson Lang we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Knights ball.
I
don't know. He really wanted those. That would have gotten him on track, and he would have been a little bit more confident. But this is a kid who's been out of sports for 7 months.
He did the dribble through the leg there. Though, like, he's back into it. He's back into his motive for sure. It's good to see this duo back on the court again, Lowry and Lang. It's something we haven't seen all year.
I'm worried about seeing the explosiveness from Lang. He relies a lot on his quickness, and that's kind of gone now because of his ACL.
That's for sure. And once again, Lang, though, with that attitude on, and Lowry pulls up and off there. That's going to bring an end to the first quarter here from the Castle. Your Knights currently trailing by a score of 4-8. And you're tuning into the one, the only Knights Sports Network. We are going to take a quick break. And we're back. I thought for a second we were missing half of our scoreboard. That is how we start. The second quarter begins here from the Castle. My name is Oliver Anton. I'm joined alongside Nicholas Zanger. If you are just joining us now, you're tuning into the one and only Knights Sports Network. For the second quarter, your JPII Knights trailing their first region rivals, the Montgomery Bell Academy Big Red, by a score of 8-4. Nick, how's the game been going so far?
It's obviously a very defensive game considering only 12 points have been scored, but we've seen a lot of, I think, nerves, I would say, because of a young team for the Knights. Avishai Lowry, Michael Anderson are even playing with nerves, and they're kind of the veterans of this team. Gordon Carroll and Chris Botsko are playing kind of cool-headed, but I want to see Chris Botsko actually kind of make a difference also. He's a guy who's going to have to play some big minutes.
And bad pass there from Lowry.
Did they call that an intentional foul? That's a bad call. That's a really bad call.
And immediately Young is going to check in for Botsko.
Fouls on number 15, Chris Botsko.
I don't know. I'd have to see the replay on that one, but
oh, for sure. I don't think there was an
like
intentional foul there.
It didn't look like he was the last defender.
He gets the first foul, first free throw there. The Blue Man group, though, making plenty of noise. Shots up, both good.
I don't know. Off eyeballing it, I didn't really like that call, but we have a very defensive group in right now, for the Knights at least. It's going to be interesting to see how they attack this on offense at least.
That's for sure. 21 driving in. Botsko and Malmquist playing double coverage. Malmquist comes up on him. That pass far and wide to 10. 10 kicks to 11 there in the corner, maybe 14.
Good defense. They're staying compact. This is good defense right here. This is what Coach Wade wants.
And 10 goes for the deep three there and gets it.
They can't let that kid even shoot. That man makes everything.
That's for sure. The Knights were playing very good shutdown there, though. That's for sure.
That was a kind of a heave-it shot.
Botsko doesn't go up with there, instead passes out, but shoots the three and sinks it.
And if that's where the offense is going to come from, I'm fine. I mean, if I'm Coach Wade, I'm perfectly fine with that. See Chris Botsko kind of get integrated into this game a little bit.
Oh, that's for sure. If Botsko's on fire, Botsko's on fire, period.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a player you want on the court.
It's just a question on how he's going to play on defense because of his, he reaches a lot.
And Malmquist gets that steal there. Malmquist tries going up. Young gets the rebound and shoots the 15-footer and gets it.
Smart play. I thought Malmquist was about to turn that over. Luckily, Jaden Young in the right place at the right time.
That's for sure.
Okay.
And Ben Nixon there snags it off of an MBA player, gives to Gordon Carroll, who gives to Jaden Young. Young, who gives back to Chris Botsko. And the Knights having a chance to bring this to a lot closer than it was just a few seconds ago. Botsko drives in and finishes.
Botsko trying to get integrated into this game. That's a huge bucket for him. 2 straight makes. Ben Nixon with his long arms, our defense really making plays. That's the reason he plays.
He made up for that intentional foul right there for sure. Timeout called by the Big Red. And I got called for an intentional foul during the state semifinals in middle school.
Really?
We lost by 2 points because of it.
That's depressing. That's really depressing. I got called for a technical foul in 6th grade, and I did throw a chair at a referee after that. I was suspended for a month, but throwing the chair was kind of worth it.
I feel so. I feel like so. I don't know if you heard this. Austin probably definitely went, "Oh no," at the mention of you throwing a chair. I mean,
are we just gonna completely ignore the kind of appearance that one of the referees looks like our Coach Webby?
He does. I didn't want to say anything, but we don't have to ignore it now. It's out there now.
It's out there. They're probably long-lost brothers, if I had to take a guess.
Oh. You remember when we played Laverne 2 years ago, and Hatton's Hatton's girlfriend's brother was the one reffing the game?
Yes, that was very funny. But I think we also lost that. Laverne's a good basketball team.
They are.
Oh, not a good pass by Jaden Young.
I mean, it says something. Coach Kip saw a lot of talent in those kids, and that's why he put them on the schedule. And the fact that Coach Wade continued to see that talent and kept them on the schedule for this year.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good test early for this Knights team, especially because they're young. They need good competition if they want to compete with the likes of MBA and Baylor and Brentwood Academy, definitely.
And they've improved significantly as a team since then. I still don't think that they're quite the best team they can be yet, but I think that from what we saw in those early weeks, they're very different. Now Montgomery Bell kicks it out to 22, who drives in. And clean blockage there by the Knights. Sam Specht bringing it up.
Great defense by Michael Anderson when the man tried to post him up in the post.
Botsko takes a second and tries to slow this one down. Gives to Michael Anderson, who gives back to Chris.
I want to see Michael Anderson be aggressive there. He had his face towards the basket, passed it right back to Chris Botsko. I want to see him try to take somebody off the dribble and try to post him up.
Botsko found a clean opening there and was just off.
Yeah, but I feel like that's 2 points if Mike tries to take that to the basket.
I think it was. I definitely think it was.
Fouls on Michael Anderson. His first and second.
Low fouling game, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of, the refs are kind of letting it play. And, I mean, I think all the calls have been right so far except for the intentional foul. But, again, I only saw that in live action. I have to see the replay. You know, hindsight's 20/20.
That second one goes up and through. Knights really needing a win tonight, coming off of a 2-game losing streak from Florida after losing to Beach, and then it was something Christian. I can't remember who the second team was quite off the top of my head.
I wish the Beach game would have been played here. That would have been quite fun to watch the Wade Kit Bowl.
Oh, that was something. I mean, the fact that it took place in Florida says something. That's one of those destination games that they do like on an Army cruiser, and then they get all the crowds to come. You know,
that would make a lot of money, though. I don't know why they don't put that on the schedule.
Oh, yeah, it would. It'd bring people in. I do know Beach has a strong, all the Sumner schools do not want to play us.
I'm sorry, but Gordon Carroll has a mismatch in the post. Let's see how he plays out of it. All right.
I just saw Coach Wade verbally upset with the way that play rolled out.
We still yet to see Sam Speck get involved in this offense yet. He seems to be struggling in his first game in the region.
That's for sure, and we all know, especially after the game film, region is going to be all over him after seeing what he did against Good Pasture. Yeah. I think seeing what he did against Nashville Central Christian, they could say, well, that's kid stuff, but seeing what he did against Good Pasture and seeing that he is a threat player.
And something like there, I mean, you know that there's going to be help defense. You need to find that skip pass instead of trying to force feed Michael Anderson.
And just a lucky miss there by the Knights, unable to finish by the Big Red for the Knights, unable to finish there by the basket.
I just want to point out that the starters for the Knights have been in for most of the time. I don't think they've really divulged into the bench except for Ben Nixon and Jaden Young. So, and Nick Malquist obviously got some spot minutes, but.
Ooh, and Speck sunk that three that could have tied this game.
That would have been big.
Speck was off on his release too. You could see his footing was off.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, this kid can make everything, but that play, it's just the double screen up top, of course, and that, you know, Sam's obviously skinny enough to fit through any kind of screen. So.
The Knights in a 1-2-2 man press right now, playing the triangle trap up the way, and Carroll gets the steal.
Gordon Carroll is the best defender on this team.
No questions asked, period.
Unless Grayson Lang was healthy, because Grayson Lang is, in fact,
a
beast. There's no other word to really describe it. Oh, they need to find Gordon Carroll. They need to find him fast.
Specs pulls up for a jumper. It's just off Michael Anderson, unable to get the rebound.
That's more of a frustration shot than anything. It's a nice pull-up, but that needs to be moved around, and they need to find Gordon Carroll in the post. He had a mismatch.
And Carroll's playing the tip of this defensive stand right now. Specs doesn't even get his hands up there, and so 2 points easy.
See, the Knights have played really good defense, but if they start playing like that for the rest of the game, they're in really bad shape.
Alexander Roberts back in Florida. MBA.
Oh. Gordon Carroll was wide open on that back cut there. If Botsko would have looked at him, he would have had an easy bucket.
Oh, that's for sure. And Chris Botsko really does ignore Gordon Carroll on.
Well, I mean, Gordon isn't exactly the best offensive player on the planet.
No, that's
I mean, he's obviously working on it, but he's a kid who plays hard. Oh, Speck wide open. Oh, he's gonna finish that one.
And that's for sure.
That's gotta be a bucket. If I'm Sam Speck and I get a shot like that, I can't short arm it. That's exactly what.
Oh, that's for sure.
Fouls on Abishai Lowry.
Ivy picks up a foul there.
Team fifth.
Only the fifth team foul. Wow. There's a minute left. Minute 45 left.
Yeah, no bonus in this first half.
That's a kickball. Oh no, they called a. Did they just call a block? That's another bad call. That's another one that kind of checks down on that one.
Grayson Lang finds his way back onto the court. Gordon Carroll checking out.
I kind of sense a hint here of how they're playing Grayson Lang. Kind of at the end of quarters, end of halves. Make sure their general's on the court.
And they kick that ball in. 32 wide open, 4 wide open, and sinks that 3 easily.
Great ball movement. Very fundamentally sound right there.
Grayson Lang with it. And Michael Anderson just loses his touch on that one, and that one rolls out of bounds.
The Knights really need to find some momentum right now, or the Big Red's about to get a pretty sizable lead here to go into halftime with all the momentum.
One thing the Knights can be happy about, halftime's only a minute and 9 seconds away. And
but for NBA, that's an eternity on offense.
Oh, yeah.
They could easily hold this ball for a minute.
And that ball gets away there. Chris Botsko does not step out of bounds.
On the fast break.
Looks and tries to go up there. That shot is off, and there was an open Grayson Lang. Then again, I can see where Ivy wanted to try and get that easy basket.
I think he was trying to get fouled. Which
And
really
Lang,
doesn't make sense because he's not a great foul shooter, but good rebound by Lang.
Lang drives in, kicks out to Specht. Specht gives to Botsko. Botsko goes back to Sam Specht. Sam Specht with 24 seconds left and passes that away from Michael Anderson. NBA crowd is here and it's actually sizable. I mean, I know it's a decent amount of parents, but they're out here to support.
Yeah, Thursday night, I mean, their students really don't travel here very well, but their parents usually do come. Pretty good crowd. This is a good basketball team.
And Ivashal Lowry off the intercepted pass. That shot's up and no good. So at the end of the first half, the current score is 19-11. Your JPII Knights trailing the Montgomery Bell Big Red. We'll be right back for the second half. We're going to take a break for halftime. We'll see you in 10 minutes, and we hope you will join us then. As for now, my name is Oliver Antone.
And I'm Nicholas Zenger.
And we thank you for watching, and we will see you at the end of the half. And we're back. If you're just joining us now, you're tuning into the Night Sports Network. My name is Alvarez, and I'm joined alongside Nicholas Zanger for the second half, or the third quarter of tonight's matchup between your JPII Knights and the Montgomery Bell Academy Big Red. Your Knights are trailing 19-11. Montgomery Bell is starting off. Nick, what do you think the Knights have to do this half?
Obviously, the Knights have to play better on offense. I thought their defense looked good at times. It kind of faltered towards the end of the half, giving up some easy layups. But like that, getting the ball inside, that can't happen. See, if you're going to play that kind of zone, you got to make sure you collapse in the inside. But offensively, I think they need to get Michael Anderson and Sam Speck going. Those are the only two people I feel like who can beat MBA.
That's great analysis right there. Montgomery Bell Academy has a 10-point lead. That ball swatted away from Michael Anderson, who boxes around the player at that time.
See, right here, I think Gordon Carroll and Michael Anderson should be setting a stagger screen for Sam Speck on the weak side and have Speck step into a shot on the top of the key. We saw him hit one earlier that was waved off. Let's try to get him another one.
Carroll driving in now, gives to Michael Anderson. Botsko goes deep for the three. There is off. Gordon Carroll picks up the team's rebound. And Botsko driving in gets hit there, called foul.
And see, again, for the second time, I've seen Michael Anderson have room at the top of the elbow and not look to score. He's looking to pass. He's playing tentative. He's playing like he did last year at the start of the season. He needs to start playing like end of the year Mike, who started over Matt Galvin, who's one of the best players in school history.
Speck trying to move in there, passes to Anderson. Anderson goes up and gets two.
Right there. They need to do that for the rest of the game. And if they want to try to D up Mike Anderson by double teaming him, put Speck in the corner and have him shoot a three, and then put Botsko at the top of the key.
We're gonna just send this to Coach Wade later.
Hey, I could draw up some plays. Just give me a stick and some dirt.
It's evident here that all JP2 students have to come back and teach at some point, all alumni. So it's obvious here that you and Grayson are going to be coaching this team.
Maybe. The ball movement for NBA though was just the ball. They need to try to keep NBA to one side of the court on defense, and Sam Speck can't do that. He gave up too.
You had such a sassy tone you had such a sassy turn of the iPad.
They can't get caught in a run and gun.
No, that's for sure. Montgomery Bell right now is running all over the Knights on defense as well.
Exactly. I mean,
Fouls on Chris Botsko.
they had 8 points at the end of the first quarter. I mean, they had, 19 at halftime? They were
Benjamin Nixon
they have 6 points in this quarter. That's not the way Coach Wade I know wants to play defense.
No, that's for sure. Montgomery Bell is out here rejuvenated from the half. Ball stays with the Big Red though.
I see they put Ben Nixon in to try to get help on the rebounding. Pull out Sam Speck. It takes away your shooter, but it gives you the rebounding advantage, in my opinion.
I think that's definitely one of the most true things I've heard.
And his long arms with Gordon Carroll's that's defense, defense 101 right there.
And what a shot there!
Nothing you can do about that. Oh God. He needs to keep doing that. I think that's a really bad call. I think Michael Anderson really.
I fully agree on that one. I will fully agree on that one. And they're going to say Botsko touched the ball.
Yeah,
I don't think he did. But
I don't think he did either. But that could also be, bias, as we learned in statistics.
Well, in that case, I think he should really feel some not volunteer bias. What is it? Where the crowd impacts it.
Yeah, whichever one that is. We don't understand it. It's fine.
No one does.
That's a 2K. That's a 2K situation right there. Ben Nixon got up on his feet. You can't jump, especially with this team. They pump fake probably more than anybody in the region.
Fouls on Benjamin Nixon. Team 4.
And driving in the key there. Deep three from 23 is off. Ivy gets the rebound and tries the fast break there. That'll be a reaching in, it looks like.
If I'm Coach Wade, I'm thinking about trying to spread them out and put a couple shooters in. When I look at the bench, obviously Grayson Lane comes to mind, but obviously in the limited minutes role, you want to kind of save him for the fourth quarter. But to keep it close, you need to go to players like a Sam Speck and a Jaden Young who can, shoot the ball along with a Chris Botsko.
That's for sure, and I think notice that Ben Nixon's still out there. I think that foul call was the right point to check Speck in to at least get some shooting ability out there. Because Ivy can't go deep, and that's putting too much on Chris Botsko. If you have two guys out there that can really go, Ivy gets that on a toilet.
Lowry.
I mean, Michael Anderson can shoot. He just chooses not to because he doesn't feel like it's his range. Michael Anderson needs to be more aggressive. We saw him be more aggressive. He got called for the foul. Now he's turned invisible again.
That's for sure. Rebound there by the Knights as they try to keep this game within grasp before the fourth quarter. We're halfway through the third right now. Carroll driving in and goes up with it there. Tries to get fouled there. Does not, and now he's immediately playing defense and called for a foul.
I don't like the shot that Gordon took, but at least it was aggressive towards the rim, and that's the kind of shot he takes. Replacing defense for defense. Nick Malmquist is exactly like Gordon Carroll. Plays really hard.
Grayson Lang sets to check in here. You're right. You can notice the pattern. Coach is always using Grayson at the back half of each quarter.
Yeah, I think that's right. Try to get the last second shot. You want the ball in his hands, but you have to keep it close for that to happen. And right now they're not. 13 points is it's too far for Grayson Lang to carry them all the way back.
And Ben Nixon will be called for the foul there, and he will give the Big Red 2 shots.
And he's going with shooting. Taggart Patterson.
Fouls on number 24, Ben Nixon.
Patterson's shot is off.
Thomas Carr shooting the second of 2 shots.
So Botsko and Nixon come out.
I think Grayson plays the rest of the third quarter and then the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter if the game's close.
I think so, but the Knights are really going to have to try and get some points on the board. It just seems like they're slowing things down and letting the defense get to them right now. That's not how you want to play this game.
And if I'm Coach Wade, I'm letting Grayson Lane carry it. I'm letting him handle the ball, give the ball to Lowry. Let him try to attack, and if he can't, find Taggart Patterson. That man can shoot.
And Grayson Lang gets the steal there. Ivy goes up and gets 2.
See that pass?
Lowry for 2 with the assist by Lang.
That's vintage Grayson Lang right here.
And
Vintage
Lang,
Grayson
behind
Lang.
the back pass.
He's back.
Patterson goes deep and is just
good
off.
rebound.
Michael Anderson gets the rebound on the ground. If he holds on, it was NBA ball.
Now that's the kind of spark Grayson Lang can give you right there. That was vintage Grayson Lang.
Problem is that jump ball was going to go to the Knights. I feel like Coach Wade shouldn't have called timeout in that moment.
But if they don't call it soon enough, then it's a turnover, and then everybody's mad. The timeout's definitely the safe call, and right now, with the momentum, that's the perfect call.
And they need this momentum to carry them for the rest of this game. I think that they can. I think that they're very much still in this game if they play with this momentum. Look at that: 3 steals, 3 plays, 3 possessions, and they're back right into it.
I'm just gonna say this. I think if Grayson Lang plays like that for the next 2:57, we might see him for the rest of the fourth quarter. He's that kind of difference maker.
That's for sure. Grayson Lang taking the ball out for the Knights. Joining him on the court is Taggart Patterson, Nick Malmquist, Michael Anderson, and Avishai Lowry with 2 minutes and 56 seconds remaining.
See, Michael Anderson needs to face up there and either pull up or take it to the hole.
I think that was the point for Michael Anderson to definitely put up a shot. Worst comes to worst, you get fouled on that.
Yeah.
And Lowry goes up again. Lowry putting up 2 more.
He's starting to find his lip. This is a good sign for the Knights, especially for tomorrow's Knights game.
And if Ivy finishes by the basket, then you know the Knights are in good shape.
Oh, they're out of position. Taggart Patterson.
20 driving in. Knights with some hands and some faces. 14 gives.
Oh, he lost the ball. He lost the ball. I'm sorry.
I think he lost the ball. I think there was a reaching in after he lost the ball.
I think that's a good play by Taggart. But since Grayson Lang's gotten in the game, the Knights are plus on the scoreboard, and that's a great sign.
It's amazing. His energy out there is nuclear every day.
He's a leader. a true born. He has every quality on the planet.
I'm sorry, they have 2 bench players out right now. I mean, that's qualifying Grayson as a starter, so technically 3 bench players out there.
Grayson's a starter.
So they have, and that's a bad foul on Michael Anderson. They have 2 bench players out there, and notice the difference that they're playing with Grayson Lang on this court.
But even then, you still can't let the ball get that easily inside.
For Michael Anderson, his 3rd.
I mean, they had 3 guys jumping forward after they figured out the ball was there.
Thomas Carr shooting the second of 2 shots. Drew Weichert and Chris Botsko re-enter the game.
So Patterson comes out for Botsko.
Looks like Botsko just got the wrong player.
Malmquist and Anderson set for the rebound, but that shot's good. Patterson will check back in, and it's a 10-point deficit. Still very obtainable for the Knights, though.
That's just spreading the court. Exactly what they need. I think Sam Speck might need to be in for Nick Malmquist, but other than that, I like the group out there for the Knights.
Grayson Lang once again behind the back to Ivishaw Lowry, and Lowry goes right back up and gets fouled.
He's playing aggressive. I feel like he needs to start rubbing him, whatever he had for breakfast, he needs to rub that into Michael Anderson, get the aggressive juices going.
And I think we found out why Ivy Lowry wasn't finishing as I honestly think Grayson Lang had some effect on that. Ivy off on that shot.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Grayson affects everybody. And I think I would leave Grayson in. He's finally starting to get his flow back. I would have left him in, but obviously the minutes restriction that they talked about all day today. There we go.
And Ivy gets that shot. Jason checking in with Grayson real quick. He looks like he stepped away now, but
Malmquist doesn't look like he knows what he's doing.
And that's a charge there. Good enough for the Knights here to get possession back.
I can tell you right now, Ben's walking away, but he has some pain somewhere. Charges hurt.
It is. It's a lot of pain for a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, especially when you're 5'8" and going up against 6-foot players. At least that wasn't like it was with me.
And Specs gives back to Lowry. Lowry to Ben Nixon. Ben Nixon goes right up there.
Benjamin Nixon.
Nixon's feet didn't even touch the ground.
I mean, I saw him jumping. He was doing jumping jacks for the ball.
Oh. And Lowry just stumbles over him.
Ivy trying to practice his broad jump.
It's not track season yet, Ivy.
He would have been in state last year, wouldn't he?
He would have if he didn't injure his arm.
Yeah. That could be why his free throws are fantastic. Maybe it's still not fully to his confidence.
And he sinks the first to the 1-and-1.
They got to stop fouling NBA. NBA, if they live by the free throw line, they will win every single game. I mean, it's the most fundamental team I think I've ever seen.
And the problem is now they get to carry that momentum with them throughout the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I mean, we saw a low fouling. I think either something changed with the refs or they're just picking and choosing, what fouls they needed to try to. Oh.
Response bias. That's what it was.
Yeah. Obviously response bias, but. Oh, Sam Speck was wide open in the corner. Another freshman phenom.
Tim Lark enters for your JPII Knights.
Botsko comes out.
Tim Lark and Sam Speck both on the court, 2 freshmen. A very young group on the court right now for the Knights.
Ben Nixon gives to Speck. Speck to Lowry. Lowry gives back to Nixon, who gives to Malmquist.
Oh.
And that shot just off there. It's tipped away by MBA. Beautiful way going up. Beautiful release. Ivy and Lark both aid in that. Ivy has possession of the ball. Malmquist kicks to Speck. A wide open three. In.
Bang. They needed that one big. Tim Lark's energy off the bench really gave it to him, though.
I mean, let's face it, you leave Sam Speck that open, you can't expect anything less but net.
Answer.
But you're right.
I don't know how he gets that wide open. He is their best shooter. You have to be able to play defense on him. If you have to go box and one, do it.
I think Sam Speck should have got the ball right before that buzzer. He had enough time to get up the court.
I don't think Ivan knew how much time was left. Everybody was counting down, but I don't think anybody heard.
Oh, that's for sure. Your Knights currently trailing by a score of 27, or by a score of 36-27. Big Red lead. We're heading to the fourth quarter, but we're going to take a quick break. You're tuning into the One and Only Night Sports Network, and we'll be right back. And we're back. It'll be Knights possession here at the start of the fourth quarter. Knights in need of a comeback. But then again, JPII has put quite a few strings of fourth quarter comebacks out behind Coach Wade, so nothing's out of the option yet. It is a 9-point lead for the Big Red.
Very low-scoring ball game. Kind of what I expected between two teams that really wanted to play defense tonight.
He calls timeout here.
That was a smart play by the freshman Tim Lark. Call a timeout instead of take the turnover.
What I want to call out here is, interestingly, I noticed 21 was clapping, which I don't think any of the referees saw. I believe TSSAA doesn't like that.
They don't like it, but Devin Cambridge did it all year last year. And the only text I feel like he got were for dunking, so.
Yeah.
They certainly don't like it, but, I mean, everybody does it, so.
You know what the sad part is? The student section's out of this right now just because of the score, when I think really they need to be into it. I know, I'm sure some of them are saving their energy for tomorrow night, but still.
Yeah, but I think the bigger thing is that they just really haven't had anything to get energized about. I mean, 27 points isn't exactly a, fun game to watch, but, you look at who's on the court right now for the Knights. I feel like Speck's the only one who can really beat them from deep, and Botsko maybe, but I don't know. There's not a big flashy player on the Knights this year. They're a unit. They're more of a unit than they were last year, and that's how they're going to win games.
That's for sure, and I feel like once they discovered that, about halfway through December, they discovered that, and I think that they become a much better team. Speck goes deep, and he's just off, but gets it right back. His own rebound, Ben Nixon has it, passes to Michael Anderson, who gives right back to Speck.
He needs to attack there. Gets in the post, I like that. Oh, good pass. Exactly.
Speck with a JPII.
I've been calling for that since the second quarter.
And that's exactly what the Knights needed at the moment. Hopefully enough to give them a little momentum.
Anderson needs a better closeout.
When Ivy struck down, and they're going to call it all ball, though.
He had the layup if he would have just gone up the first time, but he had triple clutched. It's looks like they're going 55 to try to get some pressure on the ball. That worked for the Knights in the fourth quarter last year, and I guess Coach Wade's trying to go back to the well.
Why not? If it works. If it doesn't, then drop something new. another turn.
Botsko fell asleep on defense. Got back up by the...
That's for sure. Speck's trying to
big
get
red
around
spec
somewhere. He jumps in, and that time he gets fouled.
That's a good sign. The freshman trying to take it into the teeth of defense. It's kind of fun to see.
Sam Speck, give him a year more, one more year, and he's going to be a dangerous player next year.
I mean, this class is really going to be dangerous. I mean, you're talking to the likes of Tim Lark and Sam Speck already playing meaningful minutes. I mean, Sam's a starter, and Tim obviously came in and energized them. But, you know, they're going to need another energizer after... I call him the Energizer Bunny, and that's Gordon Carroll. I mean, he talks to me all the time about how he's going to dunk on people, so... He plays with a lot of confidence. I love that about him.
That shot's off. MBA getting their own rebound there. And Speck fouls him there to give him an and one.
I don't understand why players always go up from behind to try to block a shot when
Never
they're
works.
at the block. Yeah, it's always an and one, always, because the refs are going to feel like you're touching their arm. That was not a smart play by Sam Speck. That was a freshman mistake, in my opinion.
It was an 11-point deficit. The Knights desperately needed some points. Will be a push though, but Knights are not in the bonus quite yet.
Now they are.
Fouls on number 21, Will Nutter, his second.
That's Young. Speck with a hand in his face gives to Lowry.
There's not enough movement. They're all moving to the same area. What's going on? The whole backside was open. If you're going to do that, set a triple screen for Speck or try to get Anderson on a lob.
Young with it now.
Oh, Anderson's posting up. Oh, he had position. Oh,
And double dribble. There.
Young had the ball slapped out of his hands, right?
I did see it slapped out of his hand, but
I'm pretty sure that means it's not a double dribble, but we'll go against that.
let's put double coverage on it immediately there. Montgomery Bell uses their first time out.
It seems like every time the Knights get within 6, get within 5, Big Red always just seem to start pulling away, and that speaks to the character of this senior-led team, because this is guys who have been playing for 3 years now.
Yeah. That's weird. And Montgomery Bell sheds the JPII defense like it's nothing there.
The Knights need to start pressuring more. Exactly like that.
Ivy driving his way through. He goes up and gets fouled.
Now let's see if he can make the free throws.
Fouls on number 23, Thomas Carr.
I don't think you put Grayson Lang back in unless you get the game within 6.
Hitting 2 shots and have a shot.
That's the perfect area for Lang to come in, operate, do his thing.
And Ivy misses that first one. The problem is you can't be missing free throws like that in key situations like this.
And I think I've only seen him make 1. I mean, he really needs to work on this part of the game. If he's going to drive as much as he does, he's got to be able to finish at the free throw line. And if he can't do that, that's what's holding him back as a player. And he needs to realize that and start working at it. .21 there, met by Michael Anderson.
drives in and gets 2. Avi has no one to help him, so he pulls up for a 15-footer and is off.
That's not his game.
No.
That is not his game.
And it looks like Young's going to get called for that foul.
Knights are slowly letting this slip away.
By the end of the third quarter, it seemed like it could be an attainable game, and it's just not right now.
It's just, I mean, they're trying to put some more spark in with Sabino, another freshman. I'm telling you, this freshman class in 2 years is going to be like this NBA team. It's just a well-oiled machine that just doesn't stop.
Oh, it will be. I think there's definite state potential in this team in 2 years.
Without a doubt. I mean, and you add the likes of players like a Michael Martini, like a Judson Murray, guys who are still working on to improve their game. This is going to be a really good team.
Oh, I think so.
But let's not discount this year. I mean, a lot of people are playing against the Knights, but if they play like a unit like they did in the first quarter today and hold teams to 8 points, they just need to find the offense to go along with it.
That's for sure. I think this will be an eye-opener, though. I think this will be an eye-opener for the kids, the first game in region. I think they thought that it was going to be an easy game tonight with Brentwood Academy tomorrow. They'd pick up an easy win. Not like, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to say easy. I think they thought they'd pick up the win easier is what I'm thinking. I don't think easy win. I think that they thought it would be a different game than this.
I feel like they thought they were going to keep it close, but ultimately pull it out, especially how the last 2 years have gone. I think we're 4-0 against them in the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah. 6-0. 6-0 in the last 3.
6-0 in the last. I mean, this is a team we've kind of owned the last 3 years, and it kind of shows the need for this is definitely kind of a different year for the Knights, something they haven't had in a while.
Yeah. Here's something too. I have a shot Lowry right there missing shots. Teams are fouling Lowry.
I mean, I would shack him. The shack rule, I would do that to Avishai Lowry until he makes an effort to start hitting free throws. And by that, I mean, he needs to start making 60% of them. I mean, he just missed both of his free throws.
I mean, it makes you miss players. Like, I mean, he's sitting 5 feet from us. Jason Brown was over 75% his sophomore year. Everyone fouled him because Coach Kip would put Jason in the last 4 minutes, and everyone would say, here's this kid. And so Jason would go up and hit free throws.
I mean, I want to look at what could have been, but this is a team that could have this year have a starting lineup of Grayson Lang if he doesn't get hurt, Jason Brown if he doesn't leave, Justin McMurray if he doesn't leave, Devin Cambridge if he doesn't leave, and like a Mike and an Ivy and a Botsko even. I mean, Sam Speck's not even on varsity this year if those guys stay.
If those guys stay, yeah. Or no, he's on varsity because he needs to ride the bench, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
so he can get in the system.
Yeah, but Mitchell Swartzen. I mean, this is a really good team. If obviously those players don't leave, but now they're having to do something they really don't do, and that's build young. And this hasn't been seen from the Knights in a while since the first year Kip was here.
Yeah, but because Coach Wade picked up Coach Kip's team, and I think that Coach Wade is a great coach, and I think his system.
Oh, he's a fantastic coach.
I think his system really works. I think that these guys are so young, though, that in the division the Knights play in, Ivy driving in, gets fouled and misses.
But see, again, right there, Judson Murray streaking down the court, wide open, and Lowry doesn't make the pass. I think Lowry, if there's 2 things he needs to work on, is obviously his free throws. This is what he's doing right now. But since I said that, he's probably going to make both of these. And just finding the open man. Told you. I should just say everybody's going to miss. I guarantee you we'll win by 80.
In middle school, we used to whisper, biggest fail of your life for our team whenever they shoot free throws. They made them. They made them.
1 for 2.
Malmquist tips that away. It'll be big red possession.
Lots of intrigue for the Knights tonight, though. I mean, I think it's a positive night here, though they're losing by 14.
Yeah. Knights are taking the highway to the danger zone. No, coming home is tomorrow night, and typically we're more excited and advertising that more. Brentwood Academy comes to town. Then it's Father Ryan, and And
they have a week off before Father Ryan.
Yeah.
A full week. Lane gets to get more of his feedback. I was talking to him today. He thinks he's going to be able to play the whole game. Like, no restrictions. and for his sake, I hope he can, because he's a joy to watch.
And
he really is.
Yep, and I think Coach Wade can take these next 2 games, because I think the Knights can put up some points. If they play like they did that first and second quarter, they can put up some points against.
Broward Academy is a different monster than the NBA. That's a 3-time defending state championship team that's been playing the same 5 guys for 4 years now.
They're only nationally ranked. They only got the #1 point guard.
In the country, who's committed to Vanderbilt. But other than that, I think we can. Bunch of football players committed somewhere. Other than that, I think they're okay. But
you just got to try and say nice things.
I mean, obviously, Broward Academy is going to be heavily favored, but yeah, I think the Knights just have to throw out what names on the jersey and say they play the games for a reason. And, these guys aren't gods at their profession. They're high school basketball players just like us. And I think if they realize that, I think they have a fighting chance. And that's all you can ask for, really.
I think that's actually that is great right there. That shot's up and good.
Alexander Roller shooting the second of 2 shots.
And I think right now, especially after this, Coach Wade has 1 week. There's a week and a day. He has 6 practices to get them in shape for Ryan. That sets up and in. Immediately after that, it's Baylor. And I think Baylor's a monster. Period. But I think Baylor is beatable. I've watched some of their film. Baylor is beatable. But I just think if the Knights play like this, not so much.
But the last time the Knights played Baylor, that was last year, and they were, I guess you could say full strength without Matt Galvin, but I mean, they didn't play well, obviously, in Chattanooga, but this is a team that's going to have to finish on the road, too. I mean, they get Father Ryan at home in the second, I guess, part of the season because, they play everybody before they play other teams, but I don't know. It's going to be a rough year for the Knights, but I feel like they can play. I feel like they can pull some upsets.
And steal there from Specht. Specht's just going to take for himself. Why not? Pad your own stats.
Yeah. Try to get to the line, put up a little bit more points. Say I'm averaging 10 a game. I'm kidding. He made the smart basketball play there, though. Bosco kind of turned around looking for the ball. You don't want to try and throw it over his head and lead him.
Yeah.
And have the ball go out of bounds, and then everybody's just mad.
Specht gets 1.
And he's the best shooter on the team, so that kind of helps too when he's shooting free throws.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to watch a Jake Rucker Sam Specht shootout.
I'd watch that.
A 3-point contest. I think people would pay money for that.
Problem is, Coach Wade and Coach Puckett agreed to not do blue and gold night anymore, which is just a night where it's genuine, good old-fashioned fun. And I think that Jake Rucker and it's good to see the Knights are playing good defense now. I mean, that's not enough right there. But
it's too little, too late with 1:30 left. I mean, a valiant effort by the Knights, but obviously a really young team, and
here come the young guns.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if the first quarter went a little different, they hit a few shots. Maybe Sam Specht's shot that got waved off. Maybe that's a turning point in the game. But
oh yeah, you bring this game to 14-14 at the end, or at that moment. I think it's a whole different ballgame.
That's big.
I think that especially there, you get that, then you check Grayson Langan and you see what happens.
Yeah. I thought this was a positive night, definitely for Grayson Langan. I mean, we saw him make some, he played for 5 minutes and he made 3 dazzling plays.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I definitely missed seeing him on the court. I do have to get used to these new uniforms. It will take me a while.
Yeah. I think these are gap year uniforms, aren't
they? They are.
Are we getting new ones next year? And we won't be here for it. See how things work out. It's awful.
Yep.
It's not fun.
I just kind of know that, although Nike owns Jordan Brand, so I wonder why, because the old uniforms were Jordan Brand, so.
Well, Nike does everything basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, they're into football now. It's just next thing you know, they're into hockey.
Yeah, well, Adidas has got 7 years.
Adidas is behind. Their soccer, kind of. Nike's kind of taking over that too.
Hey, you're a soccer guy. How do you feel about an MLS team coming here?
I've bought season tickets.
Have you really?
For
the minor league team or just for
whenever the big league team gets here. I think they were talking 2019. They're going to play in the Sound Stadium at first. But
yeah, I thought that's the minor league team. That's the one
really?
for the next 2 years, or at least 1 year, because John Ingram, who is my dad's boss, which is really weird. John Ingram said he's trying to get it done. If he can get the stadium started soon, he might be able to get them for the 2019 season. Yeah.
It's going to be kind of intriguing to see what kind of players they bring in because, I mean, if I'm looking at it, I mean they're gonna have to look from out of the country a lot. You know, I'm thinking the South American countries and maybe some European countries. But
I think you pull one Premier League player, then you get some international league players here, and you could build a team.
That's really hard. I mean,
and I think
Montreal did that with Javinko, and Orlando did it with Kaká, but you know, Atlanta built around really nothing, and that's, you know, they were a team to reckon with this year. So who knows?
I can't say anything. The Revolution had like a really high year in 2014, and then
just been awful.
Fell off.
Well, I'm a Manchester City fan over in England, and they're just killing everybody. So.
Yeah. 12 seconds remain on this clock. Okay.
I don't understand why a ref would call that charge. That's
just let the game finish out.
Don't even call a foul. It was a no call. I mean, the guy moved it aside. It's not a charge if that happens. But
and with that, the clock ticks away with a final score of 57-39. Your JPII Knights fall. It's coming home tomorrow night. The girls start against the defending state champions at 6, and the guys at 7:30 against the defending state champions. We'll also have. We typically don't broadcast halftime. We will be broadcasting the coming home ceremony. Apart from that, my name is Oliver Antone.
I'm Nicholas Zenger.
And it's been a pleasure to have you with us. We hope you'll come back another time. And as always, good night, go Knights, and we will see you next time.